Okay. Now you should have 4 pieces of graph paper. Page 1, 2, okay. 3, it may not look like mine. It will be blank for you. Doesn't have this line, but you should have your axis. And then page 4 as well. Okay. Let's complete what we were doing in page 1. Okay. I told you to go back home to plot certain points. In fact, page 1 is likely to look something like that. Okay. I want us to check that the points that we have. Okay. For example, K, L, M, N, which is what I asked you to plot. Okay. That they are in the correct position. They are marked out in red already. Okay, Joshua, I don't know what you're staring at. Right, let me check that our K is 1.4 and 1.5. Okay. And then our L is at negative 0.8 and 3.1. We have that. Okay. And M is at negative 2.5 and negative 0.2. And also for N is at 1.7 and negative 3.4. Okay. So I hope that you have already plotted all this. They come in, okay, as homework the other day. Yes. Okay, so alright. Okay, so I hope that you have all these points already. Now, I want us to also learn how to actually plot, okay, points such as P. Where is it? Okay, do you all see the pencil one, P? Okay, which is 0.45 and 1.65. Okay, so because it is a pencil marking, you may not see it. Okay, I want us to learn how to plot a point like this, 0.45 and 1.65. Okay. Previously we learned that with this scale that we have, maybe let me shift this up a little so that everyone can see. Okay. With this scale that we have, one small square represents how many units? 0.2. 1, right? 1 unit for 10 small squares. So 1 unit divided by 10, we get 0.1. Right? Okay. So half a small square will be how much? 0.05, right? Because 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. If you don't believe me, press calculator, okay? Alright? So, therefore, in this case, when I want plot out x to be 0.45, where would it actually be? 0.4 is actually 4 small squares after 0. 0.5 will be half a small square next. Okay? So, we estimate, okay, halfway in between that small square, that will be where 0.45 actually is. Okay? Then for 1.65, the scale in our y-axis is actually the same, 1 unit to 10 small squares. So 1.65, you can find out what is 1.6 first. 65 will be halfway in between. I will not be able to plot points such as 0.43. Okay, you cannot take one small square, it is already so small. You cannot go and divide it into 10 units. Okay, your eyes don't have grins. Okay, we don't see things with green lights. Alright, so you cannot, okay, go and calculate this out. Alright, when it comes to one small square, okay, if this is going to be 0.4 and this is 0.5 marking, I can only read halfway. Okay, which in this case is a 0.45. Okay, I cannot go and subdivide it further. Alright, so 1.65 will be here, 0.45 is here. We align them, okay, and you will realize that it is within the space of that square. So if I were to enlarge it, okay, this is where your 0.45 is, and this is where your 1.65 is, and then we cross. Okay, within that space. It is not where the lines meet anymore. Okay, so label 0.45, 0.65 for P. Okay? Does anyone talk follow? Worksheet first. Okay, take one, pass down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, in the meantime, while you wait for the worksheet, can you open up your textbook to page 149? Okay, open up your textbook to page 149. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, page 149. Let me just write down. Ernest is not here. Okay, Joven is also not here. Who else not here? Nobody. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I know. I mean, you told me just now. This is not literally. Sorry? Oh, you don't have one? Did anyone take extra? Check. Huh? Yes, no. Okay. Don't need to take for Ernest, or Ernest I keep ready. Oh, you extra already. Right. Okay. Okay, now I want you to turn to the back page of the worksheet I've just given you. It is a blank space. So in the blank space, okay, I want us to do our working for practice now 1B. Okay, so write neatly, don't control your handwriting, okay, just because there's no lines. Sorry, I'm counting your number of B's that you have. Okay, so practice now 1B, looking at textbook, page 149. Okay, don't have to copy the question, just copy down the heading and the textbook page. Okay, in question 1, we are given that y equals 2x minus 3. We want to find part I, the value of y when x equals 4. Okay? This is not different from what we were already doing. Okay? When we did our mathematical formula in chapter 5. So what we do is that x is given to be 4. I want to find the value of y. So inside this equation, for the x, I change it into 4. Okay? So I multiply, put brackets around it. Tina, put brackets around it. Okay? Then after that, minus 3. Alright? Then 2 times 4 minus 3, can press your calculator for it. So 8 minus 3, that is 5. Okay, so that's how we find the value of y. Okay? So this equation is what we call a function. A function behaves in such a way that when I have a certain number x equals 4 in this case, I put it inside, it generates for me a value of 5. Okay? So when I put some other number, it gives me a different number. So imagine it like a robot. You put something in, come out something else. Okay? So that is for part I. Then in part 2, okay, we want to find the value of x. Let me just blank that out first. Okay. We want to find the value of x when y was -5 instead. So we apply the formula differently. With this formula, instead of x, change the y into -5 and then 2x minus 3. Okay, then we have to solve this equation in order to determine the value of x. Okay, so Lina, I want you to answer what is the next step. Goes back to our equation solving. What is the next step? I want to find x. So let's leave x behind. I want to get rid of this minus 3. -5 plus 3. Yes. Hope that comes out from yourself and not from Marcus. Okay. We are taking this -3 over to the left. Okay, that's why we have a plus 3. Right? Because I want to solve for x. -5 plus 3 is it -8? No. Either what is it? Very good. Okay, -2 equals x. Okay, and then -2 divided by 2 will be the next step. That's how we find out our x value, and x equals to -1. Use calculator. Okay. So that's our question 1. Okay. I wanted you to write at the back of your worksheet. You haven't listened to what I was saying. You're just watching this thing go by. You think go back home you can do the same thing for me. Hello? Right at the back of your worksheet. You're failing your listening comprehension exam. I'll tell you really straight. replace the y with negative 2/3. And we have this. Okay? I'm not sure about you, but I believe there will be a few people in our class who will think of wanting to make all the denominators the same and then combine, and then after we make cross multiply. That is very troublesome. Okay, there's an easier way to get around this. I want us to recognize that this is a number. Okay, minus 1/3 is also a number times x. Minus 2/5 is a number. So just like what I asked Ina just now, okay, we can bring this minus 2/5 over to the left. Okay, and that will give us plus 2/5. Right, and that is negative 1/3 x. This one, please press calculator. No need to make same denominator and do on mental calculation. Okay, and we get negative 4/15. Okay? Yeah, okay. So we get negative 4/15 in this equals to negative 1/3 x. And negative 1/3 x is a multiplication. Bringing this number to the left side will mean to divide by negative 1/3, and that is equals to x. Okay? And therefore, x equals to 4/5. Okay? This one press calculator now. Okay, so this is done. Questions? Right? If we don't have questions, okay, now I want you to take a look at your page 3 of your graph paper. Okay, let me find mine. It should already have axes like this. If you don't have it, okay, ask the people beside you, okay, copy what they have. Alright? You should already have this. And if you don't have, you're really wasting your time in the lesson. Okay? You should also have a long ruler. So for this entire chapter 6, I hope you bring a long ruler. If you don't have a long ruler, at least have a short ruler. But I will explain later on why is it a short ruler isn't the best. Okay? Now for this page 3, I want you to label that this is actually your worksheet question 1. Okay? So just put WS question 1. Right? To make our learning easier, I'm giving you, or rather asking you to draw this already. Okay? So let's take a look at our worksheet question 1. What does it say? Okay? I adapted this question from your textbook because I want it to look like something that you will probably see in your test or exam. Okay? So in your test or exam, it will likely be written in this manner. It's really very difficult. Right? So in this question itself, it says that the table given over here shows the values of two variables x and y. So there is a header over here, x and y. I'll say in a moment how to read this table. And it is connected by this equation y equals 2x plus 1. Different tables have different equations. Okay? So why does the equation matter? Because in this table, what it tells us is that when x is, let's say, negative 1, I take negative 1 put inside here. Okay, just like the same calculation I did just now, my y value will come out to be negative 1. Okay, if I put x to be 0, into this equation. Okay, 2 times 0 plus 1 and y is 1. Okay, so it is a pair. So we read our table as pairs like this. Okay, and all these pairs, okay, will be our coordinates, our points that we will be plotting later on. Okay, so in part A, okay, I want you to turn your page 3 graph paper to the back. There is a blank space. Okay, that is where you will write your working. Okay, part A. With this equation, to find the value of A, my x is negative 2. So that means that when x equals to negative 2, y equals to 2 times negative 2 plus 1. Then we press our calculator, okay, in order to get negative 3. And therefore, we see that A equals to negative 3. Okay? Using the same logic, in order to find the value of B, my x is equal to 2, okay, and my y will be 2 times 2 plus 1, that is 5, and therefore B equals to 5. Okay, so to fill out and to complete my table, okay, A is actually negative 3 and B is 5. Okay, so usually in a question, the first part they will ask you to find this kind of values. Okay, and that is just putting into the equation that we have and then find the value. Okay, questions? Alright, now let's go into part B. Okay, part B says that using a scale of 2 cm to represent 1 unit on the x-axis and 2 cm to represent 2 units on the y-axis, we are going to draw the graph. Okay, draw the graph for what? For negative 2 to x. This is an inequality. It's just telling you that your x values on your x-axis, okay, this is your x-axis, will be from negative 2 all the way to 6, which is actually what I have already drawn. Okay, so we don't need to bother ourselves with this at the moment. Okay, but I have already followed the scale of 2 cm. Wait, sorry, it's frozen. Okay, of 2 cm to represent 1 unit on the x-axis, whereby on my x-axis, 2 cm, which is 1 big square, it is 1 unit. And then for my y-axis, it is 2 cm to represent 2 units, which means 1 big square is 2 units. That's why every 1 big square I increase by 2 units. Okay, so that is how my scale, my axis has been formed. Alright, I'll share with you another day how we will draw our axis if you're going to give you a blank graph paper. Okay? So now, to draw our graph, let me just focus this. Okay, so to draw our graph, we will make use of the table to tell us what are the points. Okay, so our very first point is negative 2 and our A is negative 3. Okay, so x is negative 2, y is negative 3. Going to our grid over here, x-axis is the horizontal one, we find negative 2, and then y-axis is the vertical one, we find negative 3. Okay, we don't see the number negative 3. Let me zoom in a little. But I must know how to read the scale over here. If this is negative 2, and this is negative 4, negative 3 will have to be halfway. Right? Don't need to even go about counting squares. Okay, it should come to you naturally that 3 is in the middle of 2 and 4. Okay, so negative 3 is here, negative 2 is here. We will plot negative 2, negative 3. So this is our first point, okay, for us to plot. This is what we call plotting of points. Okay, we mark out with a cross. Our cross should not be too big. And please use pencil to draw all your diagrams on your graph paper. Okay? So your cross shouldn't go beyond the 4 small squares around it. Okay? Draw it now, please. don't understand why some of you are just staring into that space. Okay, so that's our first point. Our next point, looking at our table, okay, will be -1, -1. So we look for x -1, y -1. So x -1 is here, y-axis is the vertical one, -1 is actually here. Then we connect and we find that this is where -1, -1 is. I don't need to label, okay? Don't draw lines and all that, okay? Just follow, use your eyes, follow the line, and then mark out the point. I don't want you to draw dotted line, solid line, otherwise the whole graph paper full of lines, and it's very confusing. Okay, follow what I've just done. Alright, I thought it like that. Okay, questions? Right, next one, which is a point 0, 1. So x0 is here, y1 is actually up here. So 0, 1 is this spot over here. Okay. Then our next point, 2 and b is 5. Okay. So x is 2, b 5 is actually here. Right? And then we plot that this is the point here. Okay, now I don't understand why you thought you were holding a pencil. And then Joshua, you hold pencil but you hold somewhere else. Okay, yes. Previously you were not so. Alright? So 2, 5 is over here. And then we finish up, okay, 4, 9 is over here. Okay. I hope you're getting it. And then 6, 13 will be this point over here. Okay, so let me just zoom out so that you get overall sense of how it looks like. Okay, so this will be all your points from here all the way to this point here. Okay, so now what if one of your points you plot wrongly and you use a short ruler? Okay, if you have only a short ruler like me and one of your points plot wrongly, likely you wouldn't realize that your lines is actually slanted. Okay, when you draw your graph, which is the line that we're going to draw, it has to be one straight line, go through all the way. And using a long ruler will help you do that, rather than having short ruler and then you do it part by part. If you do it part by part, you wouldn't have realized. Okay, so if we take out our long ruler, if you don't have one, you may want to borrow from a friend. Sorry, I forgot whether I put my long ruler in or not. Sorry, may not have brought my long ruler down. Okay, never mind. I'm very confident I have plotted the correct one. Okay, so if I connect my line, this is what it will look like. Okay, and it's supposed to be straight. Alright? Okay, don't have a long ruler, please borrow, ask around your classmates. Okay, and if you don't have your own, long ruler at home, please go and buy one. Right? After drawing this graph, okay, I want us to actually label our graph. So we label the name, which is the equation y equals to 2x plus 1. Okay, you can label it anywhere, right? So usually I will label it here. But your labeling must be beside the line. Okay? Cannot be like randomly over here where there's no line. Right? So we label it beside it. Okay? Questions? So what exactly does a graph mean? A graph itself is just a picture to tell you how this equation looks like. Just like for example, okay, when I think of this name Ethan, what is the picture you think of? Or what is the image you think of? Is it this Ethan that we have in our class? Or is it some other Ethan that you already know? Okay, so we need to have a picture for the name that we know. When it comes to in real life, for a name like Ethan, you can have many pictures because you know of many different Ethans. Right? But then, when it comes to maths, it is simple. One equation, one name, only got one picture, one line. Okay, so all your lines should be the same. Alright? So that is the meaning of drawing graphs. Okay? Okay, so we'll answer our questions at the back of that same piece of graph paper. Okay, so just now part A you will have done at the back page already. Okay, so part C will also write it at the back. I'll write it on the whiteboard. Okay, so for part C, right, it specifically says use your graph. That means you must use your graph in order to find out what is the value of y when x equals to 3.2. So how do we do that? Okay, so when told that x equals to 3.2, I need to search on the x-axis, which is this horizontal line, that 3.2, okay, is going to be somewhere here, right? Because one small square in this case is a 0.1. Agree? Okay? So 3.2 is here. What I want you to do is use your ruler from 3.2, mark dotted line. Use dotted line, don't use solid line. Okay? Mark upwards and reach the graph line that you have drawn. Okay? And then, again, follow using your ruler to guide yourself and using the grid line to guide also. Okay, so 3.2 is here, go upwards and then after that go leftwards. And I need to read what is this value over here. Okay, so this is your working for C part I. Okay, so how to read this and know the value? Okay, notice that your y-axis, the scale is such that 10 small squares is 2 units, not 1 unit. That means one small square is 2 units divided by 10, it is a 0.2. Okay, so every one small square when you go up, it adds a 0.2. So from 6 to 8, I already know that halfway in the middle, it is 7. Okay, so I'm just trying to skip the whole counting process. I know that this is 7 already. Then 2 squares up is where I will find the value, and that means that every 0.2 increment, we will get a 7.4 over here. Agree? Okay, so this is a 7.4. Therefore, in our C part I answer that you write at the back, okay, of your graph paper, you should already have your part A. C part I, your y is equals to 7 point. Yeah, say that, not 7.4. Okay. So no need any working, we read from the graph. Okay. Then moving on, C part 2, going back to the graph. So this is your C part I. C part II, okay, or C part 2. We want y equals to negative 2.4. So we go to the y-axis and find out where is negative 2.4. That is actually below here because that's where your negative numbers are. So we already know that one small square is 0.2 and negative numbers we count downwards because down here is negative 2 and negative 4. So negative 2.4 will actually be 2 small squares below our negative 2. So this is where negative 2.4 actually is. Okay? I hope that you're trying to process the way I count and not just copy. Because otherwise when you do this yourself, you will not understand what's going on. Okay? But I'll be clear at this juncture how I get this negative 2.4. Then after that, again, I do the same thing, use a ruler, guide myself, draw my dotted line. Okay? So this is for C part 2. And then going back up to find out what is my next value. Okay? So for this x value over here, okay, may I know what is this number? Right, let me just call a name, you all look very 0.1. So from negative 1, the next one is negative 1, the next one is negative 1.1. So how many small squares after that, and what is this number? Very good. Okay, negative 1.7. Great. Okay, so part 2, alright, our x is negative 1.7. So I hope that all of us are clear about it. Okay? So, let's discuss why. Okay? Alright? Now going back to part D of our question, it says that the point Q6 lies on the graph. Find the value of Q. Actually, what part D is asking, it is something similar to part C. It's just that they phrase it differently. Okay? Q6 is a point that is found on the graph. The graph refers to the straight line that has been drawn. We need to recognize that Q6 means that the y coordinate is the 6. X always comes first, then y. So x is Q, y is 6. Okay? So we look for, on our graph itself, let me just zoom out. Okay, so y is 6, and then Q is something that we need to find, and that one is on the graph. So we follow y is 6 all the way to our graph, mark out this point. Okay, so this point itself has a y coordinate of 6. If you want, you can draw a dotted line, it's not an issue. And then you follow the line, and you find that this value here is 2.5. So our x coordinate is 2.5, and therefore our value of Q for part D, Q is equals to 2.5. Okay? Any questions? Right? So I have run through with you how to go about drawing your graph, okay, whereby we know how to read a table that is filled with values, okay, and then after that plot our points and also answer the subsequent question. Okay? Being mindful of the time, I want us to just do question 2A. Okay, do 2A now. It is a different equation, y equals to 6x. Find P, find Q for part I. Part 2, draw the line. This is to be drawn on page 4 of your graph paper. Okay, so draw on page 4. I have already provided you with the axis, which you should have already drawn. Okay, so this 2A, do on page 4. Just now question 1 is page 3. Okay, so can you please do 2A now? I will come around to see your work. If you still don't understand anything, please raise your hand or come over to help you. Okay? if you don't have your axis. Okay, for A part I, please do it at the back, the blank space at the back of your page 4. Okay? Nothing short of this. Left side. Okay, for your negative 5 and negative 30. Okay, so negative 18 will actually be over here. Okay, followed by negative 1, negative 6, and then 2 and also 12. Okay, and lastly 3, 18. Okay, so this should be what you will get. And if you have a long ruler in a macro, okay, if you have a long ruler and the points are correct and I place it there, you will see that it all connects perfectly. It should be perfect. When it comes to graph, it cannot be short of perfect. Okay, only one answer. Go past like that. Okay, so and very confidently now just draw past the line. Okay? Of course your hand don't shake lah, then shake everything shake, then after that your line shift